I'm Cameron Gandy, and coming up on the Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about the WVU rifle team's final regular season match as they set their sights on the NCAA qualifying match.
I'm Luke Wiggs, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, we'll talk about how Maisie Ball could return between the base paths in Morgantown this season.
I'm Carter Taylor, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you how NIL is taking shape in Morgantown.
Welcome into the first spring 2022 edition of Mountaineer Playbook. We're excited to bring you the best stories in West Virginia University athletics. I'm Daniel Woods.
And I'm Luke Wiggs. The Mountaineer rifle team lost their chance at a perfect season, dropping their final regular season match to the Kentucky Wildcats. Following the defeat, head coach John Hammond met with our own Cameron Gandy, where he gave insight into his team's mindset as they shoot for an NCAA championship.
We're here at the WVU Rifle Range in Morgantown, where the Mountaineers rifle squad concluded its regular season on Saturday in a defeat to the reigning champion Kentucky Wildcats. Despite falling one win short of an undefeated season on Saturday, the Mountaineers were able to capture a partial regular season Great American Rifle Conference title, sharing the honor with the University of Kentucky and Ole Miss. The Mountaineers conclude their regular season 12-1, including a 7-1 record in conference play. The Mountaineers got off to a hot start against Kentucky, narrowly edging the champs in the small bore event with a 23-29 to 23-25 advantage. However, Kentucky was able to separate in the air rifle event, overtaking the Mountaineers by a score of 23-77 to 23-71 en route to the win. West Virginia finished just shy of the Wildcats with a final aggregate score of 4,702 to 4,700. Sophomore Tail Engler led the way for WVU with an aggregate score of 1185. She also led the event in the air rifle competition with a career high score of 599. Following Saturday's loss, we were able to catch up with head coach John Hammond, who gave us an insight into the team's mindset as they go into the NCAA tournament.
I mean, we're at the point of the season now where we shouldn't be changing our positions or our techniques or things like that. That, you know, a lot of that work should be done. Preparation will be just more fine-tuning a little bit and making sure that we do all the little details and prepare for each match that we at the best we possibly can. And then it's a case of probably for them more just that mental prep and just having the right mindset, you know, being confident, but, you know, being able to focus on the right things.
With the regular season now in the rearview mirror, Hammond and the WVU Rifle Squad will set their sights on the NCAA qualifying match, which takes place here at the WVU Rifle Range next Saturday, February 19th. Reporting for the Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Cameron Gandy.
Home range advantage for the rifle team is going to make them hard to beat with the NCAA tournament on the line.
You're absolutely right, Luke. And another Mountaineer program that knows something about hosting NCAA competition is the WVU baseball team. Following an offseason filled with roster turnover, WVU baseball coach Randy Maisie may just turn back to a style that helped bring him success as a player and as a manager. Luke Wiggs breaks down how the 2022 season could see the return of WVU's signature Maisie ball style inside the friendly confines of Monongalia County Ballpark.
With the 2022 baseball season just underway, a lot of uncertainty surround this Mountaineer team. WVU finished 2 games below 500 with a record of 25-27 last season, and the Mountaineers lost their top 4 home run hitters during an offseason from a team that hit 49 long balls a year ago. But their biggest loss comes on the mound after ace pitcher Jackson Wolf was selected in the 4th round by the San Diego Padres. In the young season, head coach Randy Maisie still knows that there's holes to fill in his starting lineup.
If we started tomorrow, I wouldn't know who's playing left field, and I wouldn't know who's catching. And I wouldn't know who's DHing.
The most talented facet of this Mountaineer team may be its collection of high-profile arms in the back of the bullpen.
We have a choice of 4 or 5 guys back there. You know, before we flip it to Waters, you know, we have Trey Braithwaite, who came from Navy, and Chase Smith from Pitt. Noah Short's had success for us, and Ben Abernathy and Kevin Dowdell, a new guy from the left side, looks like he's going to be able to give us some quality innings. So a lot of options there.
With a lineup projected to be much more speed and defense-oriented than a season ago, the Mountaineers may also see a return to small ball or Maisie ball, which Maisie himself perfected as a player.
You know, that's the kind of player I was. I was a two-way guy that liked to steal bases and put pressure on the defense. And I guess you just kind of gravitate toward liking to coach the way you were as a player. So I like to let guys run and give them the freedom to do things. And, it's kind of like the old Press Virginia that Huggins had. People hated to play West Virginia when every player on the court was in your face. I want people to hate to play us in baseball because every guy that gets on base has an opportunity to run and make some things happen.
With a roster comprised of a lot of speed and defense, you can expect to see the Mountaineers make more plays like this season. They're going to try the squeeze play. It's down and it's fair, and the Mountaineers will score a run. Here's the throw to first. Here comes the second runner, and the throw to the plate is not in time. The Mountaineers pick up 2 runs. Randy Mazie style baseball. With the season already underway in South Carolina, the Mountaineers will play their first home baseball game here at Mon County Ballpark on March 1st against Canisius. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Luke Wiggs.
Now, Luke, Randy Mazie claims he was a base stealer as a player, but be honest with me. Between you and Coach Mazie, who's winning a race down the first base line?
Oh, me by a mile. You just named the day, Randall. Name, image, and likeness continues to make waves in collegiate athletics, and West Virginia University has joined the movement with the newly announced Country Roads Trust, an NIL organization headed by former WVU Athletic Director Oliver Luck. Connor Taylor has more on the new developments.
Name, image, likeness, what we're commonly referred to as NIL, has changed college athletics forever. For something that was supposed to give more answers than questions, has left the NCAA and universities with more questions than ever.
On July 1st last year, the first batch of state laws and NCAA new rules went into effect, and athletes started signing endorsement deals minutes after the clock struck midnight. But as time has passed, universities and states have realized fewer restrictions might be better.
About half the states right now have some sort of NIL law or policy on their legislative books. As time goes on and the states that don't have laws now look like they actually have more opportunities. West Virginia is one of them where there isn't a law. More and more states are realizing that that's a competitive disadvantage for the schools in their territory. So they're trying to roll back and repeal some of those laws. The groups that really were forward thinking and progressive on this at first are actually now having to claw that back because the NCAA was so much less restrictive than most people anticipated they would be.
These few restrictions by the NCAA do lead to interesting dilemmas.
There are no rules and regulations. So if you send an athlete out for an hour to do autographs, how much is that worth? Is it $100? Is it $50,000? There are no rules.
With few rules and regulations and it differing state from state, ESPN reporter Dan Murphy explains how schools might move forward regarding NIL.
One is schools themselves getting more directly involved in helping to set these deals up for their athletes. And the second is groups like the one that was started by Oliver Luck and the others at West Virginia called Country Roads. That is a group of boosters who are putting their money together in a way that's sort of a more stable way to continuously provide funds to college athletes at a specific school. And it certainly seems like as those continue to grow really within the past couple months, that both schools and those kind of trusts or collectives, a lot of people call them, may end up being the way that this stabilizes and looks going into the future.
WVU has currently chosen the latter of the two options, and Amanda Mazie explained the purpose of Country Roads Trust is to broker deals for student athletes to help them profit off their name, image, and likeness. With the formation of Country Roads Trust and former WVU Athletic Director Oliver Luck behind it, West Virginia Athletics looks to stay competitive for present and future athletes in the NIL space. Back to Daniel and Luke.
I can't say I'm a fan of Taz Sherman reaching for that blue Gatorade. That's not even top 5 in my opinion.
Now, the Gatorade at the Super Bowl was blue, which should at least say something. But we're only halfway through this week's edition of Mountaineer Playbook, and we've got plenty more on WVU Sports coming up right after this.
I'm Liam Bellin, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about 2 former Mountaineer soccer players that are looking to ply their trade abroad.
I'm Daniel Woods, and straight ahead on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you how a new young offensive mind is coming into Milan Puskar Stadium and shaking up the Mountaineer offense.
More than half of the women's tennis team are freshmen this year. I'm Sophia Pizzano, and straight ahead on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you why Coach Mija thinks this could be an advantage.
got in.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Playbook, your home for the best stories in WVU sports. If you liked what you saw before the break, we've got more where that came from coming up right now. With the emergence of players like Jack Elliott and Kadisha Buchanan, WVU soccer programs have become synonymous with professional success. Liam Bellin sat down with the two most recent pro products from WVU's teams on the pitch, who are also going to be playing a little bit closer to home than they were in Morgantown.
I'm here at Dick Dalesk Soccer Stadium, where two of West Virginia's elite athletic programs ply their trade on this pitch right here. Two recent alumni, Pau Jimenez Albelda and Isabella Sibley, were just here months ago playing for their respective teams. Now they're back home in Europe looking to ply their trade in the professional game.
It was always been like a big goal for me. It was one of those things that you dream of as a child, as to be a professional athlete, let alone a professional soccer player.
I was not sure that I was going to be able to make it because, you know, fourth division in Spain, the level is pretty high. Like all my teammates, they've all been in professional academies like Barcelona, Espanyol, Madrid, Mallorca, Deportivo, like all these huge Spanish teams that have academies. They've all played there. And I was like, do I really have the level? And I started playing and I was like, oh yeah, I do have the level.
Not only does this duo get to play professionally, but they are both within close proximity to home. And with that comes special advantages.
I play a game on Sunday and I have a huge amount of my family coming and supporting me, which is shocking because I haven't had that in four years now. So for me to be able to be so close with my family and friends of who I grew up with has definitely put a huge smile on my face.
It's perfect for me. It was one of the best things about it is that it's like really 10 minutes away from my house, which is fantastic. We start training at 9:30 and I can, you know, wake up at 8:45 and I'm gonna still make it because it's super close. My whole life I've been playing in the city of Tarrasa, which is like 20 minutes away from Barcelona. So I'm pretty well connected with the city, I would say.
Albelda is signed for Terrassa FC, a club in the 4th tier of the Spanish pyramid, while Sibley has opted for Crystal Palace, who reside in the 2nd tier of the women's pyramid in England. Despite the steps they have taken in their careers, they have not forgotten about the help from WVU coaching along the way.
Sat down with Izzo, I remember, I said, listen, Izzo, this is my ambition, I want to go professional. So every time I had a meeting with her, that was always in talks. It's like, okay, if you want to be a pro, this is what you're going to have to do to be a pro. All three of the coaching staff, Izzo, Stoya and Marissa, have been 3 important impacts of this process, like I said, of this new chapter in my life.
Strads is a fantastic coach. I've told him, and when I signed for the team, I sent him a message and I was like, hey, I think that this is, you know, big in big part because of you and the boys, because they've definitely, it was not only Strads, it was the whole team. They definitely made me the player I am today.
No matter how far Sibley and Albelda stray from Morgantown, they continue to make us Mountaineers proud. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Liam Bellin.
Well, Luke, knowing Mountaineer fans, there are 2 clubs in Europe that just gained a much bigger American following.
We definitely support the Palace, and that's the way we like it. There's a new man in charge of the offense for WVU football as Graham Harrell comes to Morgantown with a terrific track record and a storied background. Daniel Woods caught up with a coaching legend to see what makes the Mountaineers' new offensive coordinator special.
From setting the national record for career passing touchdowns at Texas Tech to coordinating high-quality offenses at USC for the last 3 years, Graham Harrell has brought offensive success wherever he's gone during his storied and unique college football career. Now, he's tasked with turning around a WVU offense that struggled in 2021 as the Mountaineers' new offensive coordinator. Current Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach tutored Harrell when he was his quarterback at Texas Tech in the air raid system and took him as an assistant during his stint at Washington State. He says that Harrell has the perfect mix for what it takes to be a modern coach.
Former great players don't necessarily turn in to great coaches because the whole process was easy enough for them. They didn't have to think about it very much. But, that's really not the deal with Graham.
One of the first major decisions Graham Harrell will have to make as a member of the WVU coaching staff is who's starting under center here at Milan Puskar Stadium for the 2022 season. A battle to replace the departed Jarrett Dagey will ensue this spring and potentially spill into the fall here in Morgantown. Harrell has 3 young scholarship options at his disposal in dynamic sophomore Garrett Green, redshirt freshman Will Crowder, and touted true freshman Nico Marchiol. Leach says that every member of the WVU quarterbacks room should benefit from the experience that Harrell brings to the table.
Well, I think Graham's a great teacher, and so young quarterbacks can learn a lot from Graham in particular. He's a guy that did it himself.
As spring practice for the 2022 season begins in the coming weeks for the Mountaineers, your first chance to see a Graham Harrell coached offense at Milan Puskar Stadium will be on April 23rd at the annual Blue and Gold Spring Game. For Mountaineer Playbook in Morgantown, I'm Daniel Woods.
This has got to be one of the most important spring games of recent memory. I'm excited to watch.
Without a doubt, this is going to be a big one. And switching gears from one team looking to replace departed stars to another, the Mountaineer women's tennis team has a fresh outlook in 2022. The tennis team dominated their home opener against Duquesne and Youngstown State, despite returning just one senior to the roster this season. Our Sophia Pisano checked in with her and head coach Miha Lisak to see how the Mountaineers plan to turn expectations of a rebuild on their head.
The West Virginia University women's tennis team has only one returning senior and 5 freshmen out of 9 team members, a classic rebuilding year at first glance. For many coaches, this implies a year of struggle, loss, and failure. But for Coach Miha Lisak, it means opportunity.
It creates a challenge and an opportunity. A challenge in that we are basically going back to square one and building the team from ground up, and an opportunity that when we do so, we can really mold the team in a way that we see us moving into the future, right? So we're building a foundation that will be a foundation for this team for years to come.
The team has 7 international members, and as an incoming freshman, it can be daunting to figure out the team culture, expectations, or even your way around campus. Nastia Bovolska is a captain this year and the sole senior on the team. She remembers what it was like when she first came to WVU, and she tries to be there for anyone who needs help.
Well, I grew up a lot, I think. Well, since freshman semester, I came here, not knowing English at all. I could speak, but I was shy to speak up and, being a captain, and right now I feel more comfortable, and I feel like the girls trust in me, and they feel like they can come up and just ask me something, and I'll help them. So, yeah.
Coach Miha said Nastia is a huge help in shaping the young team by being someone they can turn to and by leading by example, on and off the court. You can catch Nastia and the rest of the team competing this Friday at Marshall University at 1 p.m. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Sophia Pisano.
Luke, in your storied tennis career, do you consider yourself more of a clay, grass, or hard court type of player?
Well, Daniel, I know the sport so well, so I'm going to have to say yes. That's going to do it for today's show. Special thanks to our crew and our producer, Chuck Scatterday, and for you, the viewer. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Playbook. We'll see you next time.